Welcome to another episode of History is Colorful, your weekly journey through time to discover the contributions people of color and women have brought to our country and to our world. I'm Miss Jasmine here to guide you to the hidden fact gems that may have stayed buried otherwise. We are talking dinosaurs today. More specifically, we're talking dinosaur fossils. But before we start, we need to know what a fossil is because I'm going to be using that word a lot today. Fossils are the remains or the imprint of a living thing, like plants, animals, and insects, that have been buried under rock, ice, or tree sap for so long that it became rock. Being turned into rock keeps them looking well enough for us to find and to study. So speaking of finding fossils, today we are going to dig into the past to talk about someone who has been called the greatest fossilist the world has ever known, Mary Anning. Mary was born in 1799, which was over 200 years ago. She lived in the town of Lyme Regis in England, which is also called the Jurassic Coast, as many fossils have been and are still being found there today. Fossil collecting was a whole family activity for the Annings, starting from when Mary was very young. Mary's father taught Mary and her brother Joseph how to properly find and clean the fossils they would find. They would take their findings then and sell them in their family shop to locals and visitors in the town. Now, Mary did not attend school like children do now. She lived during a time where they did not think that girls needed to go to school, and so many schools would not even allow girls to be there. Thankfully, Mary was able to learn how to read and write during her Sunday school classes, and she was driven to teach herself geology, the science of rocks, and anatomy, the science of bodies. The first well-known fossil find of Mary's was sparked when her brother found a 4-foot ichthyosaur skull. Mary worked hard over the next few months and was able to uncover the full skeleton, mostly on her own. Mary was only 12 when she actually did this. Mary also had the ability to make incredibly detailed drawings of her findings. This was very useful to her as she pieced together how the creatures were shaped, just like a puzzle. Mary continued to support herself and her family by selling the specimens that she found. A specimen is an example of something that is used for studying or for showing off. In the year 1823, Mary found the first complete skeleton of a plesiosaurus, and 5 years later, she discovered the first pterosaur ever found in Britain. But despite her findings, Mary was still not allowed to be a part of the British scientific community, solely due to her being female. So she would sell her fossils to men who would then claim that they had made the find without ever mentioning Mary. But Mary didn't give up. She continued to make discoveries, and thanks to her undeniable knowledge, was asked to help solve many fossil mysteries of scientist friends that she had made over the years. She, having lived in Lyme Regis her whole life, became the person to see for those coming for a visit and wanting to find fossils of their own. Thankfully, history remembers Mary as the brilliant scientific mind that she was, despite many during her time casting her aside. Her discoveries and detailed work to understand the anatomy of the creatures she found have cemented her place as one of the scientific greats. And her seaside selling of things that she found have made her the inspiration for the rhyme, "She sells seashells by the seashore." That's all for today, friends. Go explore our world and see what you can unearth.